Hey my beautiful souls, welcome back to Finding with Jessie, the life coach. If you are new here, my name is Jessie. I am a life coach and we do a little bit of everything on this channel. So if you like what you hear, you like what you see, definitely hit that like button, give me a thumbs up, definitely subscribe. If you're not a newbie and you're an oldie but goodie, come on in guys. You know I'm always happy to see you and I appreciate you guys from the bottom of my heart. So guys, we're going to be talking about something interesting today. It was a conversation that I kind of stumbled upon and I got like sucked in. But I thought it was an interesting conversation. It kind of goes hand in hand into some of the topics we are going to be talking about with narcissism. So I was like, hey, let's bring it up. Let's talk about it. So the conversation was about, can a man be jealous of a woman? Can a man be envious of a woman, especially his partner or someone that he's interested in? And a lot of people had a lot of things to say about this, including women, and they were saying that it was impossible for a man to be jealous of his partner, that men can never be jealous of a woman. And I was like, what? So we're going to talk about it today, because if you know anything about narcissism, you know that deep down they harbor a lot of envy and jealousy for their partners and romantic interests. And one of the reasons that is because there's something about their partner that they either have, like a character trait that they don't have, that they get very jealous about, right? Or their partners are more successful than they are. Now, this is not all the time, and we're not talking about all men, so let's straighten that out right now. So can a man be jealous of his significant other, his spouse, or romantic interest, someone he is romantically interested in? And the answer is yes, especially in insecure, narcissistic people. These type of men, yes. So let's talk about why a lot of people feel this way, first of all. So one of the reasons I personally think that a lot of people believe that a man cannot be jealous of a woman, especially a woman that he's interested in or romantically pursuing or romantically involved with, is because they believe that jealousy and insecurity is a feminine trait. And one, of course, that is not correct. Feelings of envy and jealousy know no gender. So that right there debunks that type of argument. A man is capable of being envious and jealous and insecure just like a woman. And a lot of times you'll hear that from insecure men who are very dominant and believe that those type of traits are very feminine, but that's not true, okay? We are all humans and we are all capable of experiencing the same feelings and emotions. This idea that it's a feminine trait, that's incorrect. Number two, a lot of people have a hard time believing that a man will actually compete and feel jealous of a woman. And one of the reasons why is because we are two different genders. We have different components, we have different parts, and it's like, what does a man, what does a woman have that he would actually feel jealous of a woman? That doesn't make sense. And when you think of it like that, it doesn't. But when you think of how it plays out, then it makes more sense, and I'm going to break it down to you. You'll find with a lot of narcissistic men, they are deeply, deeply insecure, which is the reasons why they need to control and dominate a lot of things. The people who are grandiose, they'll tell you no, they're not insecure, but yes, they are. Anytime you feel the need to go destroy somebody else's life, you feel the need to control someone, you feel the need to create havoc and chaos and drama in someone else's life, whenever you feel the need to try to take from another, you're arrogant. Yeah, there's an underlying sense of insecurity. So there's that sense of insecurity, and that sense of insecurity could stem from anywhere. Now, this could be you're just a regular partner that might not suffer from toxicity, might not suffer from narcissism, might not be deeply insecure, like it's not pathological, but they have a partner who's very successful, very ambitious, and things are going well for them, and maybe the male at this point in time of his life, things are not going well for him. Maybe he lost a job, or maybe he's not getting promoted or being promoted at his job, or maybe he's out of a job, whatever the situation may be. He's not feeling successful. He's not feeling man-like the way society says a man is supposed to feel, and the way a man's supposed to lead, and the man's supposed to provide. And because of that, he can feel very jealous of a partner who's actually very successful, and actually at a time that she's glowing, and she has a spotlight on her. And since he has nothing to fall back on, he could feel very insecure. He could start feeling very jealous of her and very envious of the things that she's accomplishing. So that can happen, and just regular everyday day-to-day relationships. And that might be just a moment in time, and when he gets on his feet and he starts bettering his life and going towards accomplishing his goals and accomplishing his targets and knocking stuff out the park, he tends to feel differently. So that might be like an isolated instance, but yeah, that is capable of happening. Second case could be of a narcissistic, toxic, insecure male. Now, these men are usually envious and very jealous of everyone, including their romantic partners or people that they're romantically targeting. And the reason being is that, one, they usually have this dark cloud surrounding them. If you've ever known a narcissist, they're usually very unhappy with themselves, and they're always unhappy. They're just unhappy individuals. They usually are drawn to partners who are full of light, who have a bubbly personality, who are very empathetic, who are very loving, who are very caring. They might have a light about them. They might be a person who knows how to nurture others. So a lot of people are drawn to them, just drawn to them. And so they get a lot of attention, they get a lot of praise. And narcissists like all attention on them. And when the attention is taken away from them, they become very jealous and envious of the fact that that attention, that admiration that they require, that validation that they feel that they're entitled to, is not being given to them. And whoever is given to, which could be the partner, they could become very envious of. So yes, that is possible, right? They might be attracted to a woman who's very ambitious, a woman who's a go-getter, a woman who's very successful, a woman who gets a lot of attention, a woman who has a platform, a woman who has a voice, is not afraid to use it, a woman who commands respect and power. And they might not be like that. They have a hard time showing and getting connected to that aspect of themselves. And because of that, they take their anger, resentment, they put all the insecurities onto this other person. It has nothing to do with them, but they don't see it like that. They see it as, this person is doing great, I am not like that, or I'm not doing great, or I can't have what she has, or I cannot be as successful as her, or I'm not as ambitious as her, I'm not as motivated, I'm not as driven, I don't command that same respect, that same power. And they could become very envious of that and want to strip it away and want to destroy a woman's self-worth, her self-confidence, her self-love. So yes, that happens a lot with narcissists. So when people tell you that a man could never be jealous of a woman, that is completely false, and that is completely incorrect. A lot of men, and I'll be very cautious with using that word men, because to me they're children, they're boys. These are not men. These are not men who are standing in their power. So a lot of people see a person who has aged, right? They look like men on the outside, but internally they are emotionally immature. So they really are boys. And these are the type of people who project and become very jealous of females and go into competition with them and have issues with them and try to destroy them and try to slander them and things of that sort. So yes, it's real. Yes, it can happen. And the people who think that it cannot happen, one, you might not be that type of man. You might be a manly man who sits in his power. You are a man who lifts up his woman. You are a man who loves that you have an ambitious woman. You have a woman that's very outspoken and speaks her truth and lives in her authenticity. She's very powerful and you're very proud of her. So for you, the concept of another man not being like that, it might be like off to you. Of course it's off to you because that's not who you are. But you have to understand that just because you're not like that doesn't mean that other people in your sphere and in this universe are not like that. We are on a planet with billions and billions and billions of people, right? So that's one dynamic of one reason why you might not believe it. Two, you might be that toxic man, that narcissistic individual, that deeply insecure man. And this conversation triggers you. It triggers your ego because you know deep down inside that's exactly who you are. But of course, you don't want people to know that. So you use it as a manipulation tactic. A lot of men like to say women are crazy, women are deeply insecure, they're the ones who are jealous. When they're trying to seek power over another woman and try to flip their insecurities onto another, they try to project it. So you could be that man, and that's why this conversation triggers you and you don't believe it. Number three, you might have never experienced it. You might be a woman who's like, oh no, I've never experienced that. And I truly believe that men can never be jealous of women. And that's because you have never experienced that. And that's congratulations to you. Because when you do experience it, it's not fun. It's not fun. It's not fun to have someone who you care about and you think that cares about you try to knock you down a peg and try to make your life impossible and try to sabotage you. But yes, it does happen. And yes, it is driven by insecurity, it's driven by jealousy, and it's driven by envy. The type of relationships that they love you one day and then they hate you the next because you're succeeding and you're doing good for yourself. Not understanding that when you're doing good and they're in connection with you, you guys are a team, you're doing good together, right? And if you're low and I'm strong at that point, that's a great thing. That's the type of partner you want. When you're low on yourself, you're down in the dumps and something that's not going right for you, or you can't hold it down financially or emotionally or whatever the situation is, you have a partner, a teammate that's like, babe, I got it. I got this. You know what I mean? You work on getting yourself better. You get yourself back to that pedestal. You get yourself back to where you need to be. And then you know what? We're going to be there together. But for right now, I'm not going to let us fall because we are a unit. We are a team. Right? So it's a beautiful quality to have. But since a lot of men don't like to think that way, the toxic men, they don't see it that way. They don't see it that way. They just see a partner who's doing better than them, a partner that's getting praise, a partner that's getting attention, a partner that's happy, a partner that can do it on their own and they're not relying on them for their needs. And they don't like that because they want power. They don't want balance. They don't want a partnership. What they want is power. They want to manipulate. They want to be the one in control. They want to be the one in charge. And that's never a good dynamic in any type of relationship. If you're a woman that has never experienced this, kudos to you because it's not a good feeling to have. You might be in a healthy partnership where you have a man who's just rooting for you. And once again, that's beautiful. I'm happy for you. But just because that is your reality and that has been your experience doesn't mean it's everyone else's experience. Once again, there's billions of people on this planet and everybody is operating from their perception, from their experiences, from their childhood wounding, from their childhood upbringing, from their traumas. And not everybody is seeing it from the same lens, and not everybody is acting out and behaving towards others in the same way, in the same light. So for those who never realized it or needed clarity, yes, a man can be jealous of his spouse, of another woman, of character traits that she has that he does not have, of her power, of her ambitions, of her motivation. And once again, it has nothing to do with that woman. It has everything to do with that man, how he's seeing himself, how he feels about himself, and what he lacks within himself. And nothing will be ever good until he's good and he starts filling his own self up. If that never happens, then you will have a partner, a spouse, a romantic interest that's always trying to compete with you, that's always trying to one-up you, that's always trying to control you, that's always trying to sabotage you, that's always trying to sabotage the relationship, that's always trying to create havoc, drama, chaos, arguments, and destroy your self-esteem. So I hope this gave anybody clarity that needed to hear that. And I will see you in my next one. Bye.